Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are tuning into the episode of the Wonder Kid Morning Show. What's up, morning, everybody? Good morning, good morning. For everybody that was out there live, because we were live last night, thank you for showing up. I love you guys. Will I Am was going crazy with the donations. Just want to give you a shout out, bro. Thanks again. King Blade, first in here. What's good, bro? Abby, good morning, yo. Will I Am, of course, once again, greetings and salutes. Money Mike, gang, was good. Robbie Pate, good morning. Lawrence Wilson, good morning. Delvin's in the building. Roy T said nitro. Let's go. Listen, guys, I'm going to be real with y'all. Oh, Bubble Mom, good morning. We got a lot to unpack in this episode. And the reason why it's going to be crazy to unpack is because it's a question that we're not asking ourselves as Raven fans. And I think when you look at it from a generalistic standpoint, you're like, we'll wait for more time to pass or to lapse. But when you look at it specifically, you're like, these are questions that have to be answered now. They got to be answered, and they got to be answered correctly. Omega 21, good morning, good morning. Professor Walkdown, what's good? You in here, man, you in here. King Lee, what's good, bro? Hey. So we got people in here. We're going to get right into it. And if you read the name of it, it said, do the Ravens have secret weapons or do they have hindrances? Now, guys, I want you to take a step back for a second. Take a step back. I want you to rewind to about 3 months ago. Okay? Yeah, good morning. So about 3.5 months ago, right? Hey, Gregory Smith, good morning. Yami, good morning. And I want you to rewind it all the way to the Bills game. To that last drive. To succeeding. And then watching all of your hopes go up. Because like, oh my God, we can win. And then watching your heart break into teeny tiny little pieces. Right before the world. On a world stage. When Mark Andrews dropped the pass that hit him literally between his numbers. Please wake up, guys. And we're going to get into it. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those episodes. So what I did last night after I went live, I sat down because, of course, I was doing a lot of research. I didn't go to sleep till about 2:30. And a question came in my mind. I started to say, for all of the heartbreak, for all the sorrow, what do the Ravens really have? What players are truly considered weapons? And what players, because of not just past circumstances, but because of constant or reformation of their faults, are they actually hindrances? And guys, there's a couple hindrances on this team. Couple. Now, some of them, it's not even so much even their fault. Some of them, it's their fault. Some of them, it's not. It's more like the way they're used. See where I'm coming from? And I'm not just talking about players. I'm talking a coach's mind can be a weapon. A coach's know-how can be a weapon. His maturity in the game can be a weapon. We are on a team where the coaching staff, for the most part, are hindrances. We're on a team, at least last year, where special teams was a hindrance. We're on a team where the offensive line was a hindrance. We're on a team where the pass defense was a hindrance. We are on a team where the trenches were a hindrance. Now, where are the weapons at? All what I just stated. Where are the weapons? What are the weapons? And how are those weapons deployed? Used. Lamar, he's a weapon. Derrick Henry, he's a weapon. Zay Flowers, he's a weapon. Isaiah Likely, he's the weapon. Hope y'all understand where I'm going with that. Those are weapons. Is Bateman a weapon or a hindrance? He's on the fence. I'm going to get real down and dirty with this episode because I think some things have to be said, have to be reviewed. Producer, good morning, man. Good morning. A lot of times when we're doing stuff as Ravens, you know what we do? We get so used to what they do that we no longer question the product that's in front of us. As long as the product is succeeding, we'll overlook all of the faults, all of the discrepancies, all of the badness, and we'll say, it's okay, we're winning games. And then when we lose at the end, we'll say, well, look, all those things are bad, but we're going to put it on one guy's shoulder instead of sharing the blame. You see, my thing is the reason why I'm doing this is because when we win, when the Ravens win, you ever notice how it's the Ravens have an amazing team. John Harbaugh's a top coach. EDC is a top GM, and he's a top 2 GM, and he's not number 2. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Everything I'm saying is facts. If you do not believe me, just type it in on YouTube. You can watch the clips. See, it's gonna get real uncomfortable because it's facts. Even our young defensive coordinator, even though he's learning, was a hindrance last year. Our Hall of Fame kicker was a hindrance last year in Justin Tucker. And even though at times it could have got fixed, it never really got fixed. Now we're just saying we're cutting bait. We're moving on. That's why I'm trying to get down to that's why I'm having this question. What are weapons? What are hindrances? Guys, you're in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Which guys do you think are weapons? Which ones do you think are hindrances? Same thing I would say with Patrick Ricard. Patrick Ricard is on the fence. The way he's being used now, he's a weapon. The way he was using before, he was a hindrance. This is what I'm trying to say, bro. Kean Mitchell at his best is a weapon. Justice Hill is a weapon. If Rosengarten takes the step that we think he's going to take, he's a weapon. Can your weapons outshine your hindrances? That's the difference between a winning program and a losing program. Straight up. The Bengals have 5 guys who you can legit say are weapons on that team. The pass rusher that can get paid, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Chase, and Chase Brown, their running back. Those are undoubtedly weapons. As bright as those 5 shine, they cannot their shine has not been able to outshine the hindrances of the coaching, the offensive line, the bad defense. And even though Lou Anarumo is gone, and I feel like he's one of the better coaches in the league, it's no quick fix in fixing their defense. I'm talking to somebody on this. We got to get to a point as a team, as coaching, that even the hindrance play or the play that we consider a hindrance, just like I said with Patrick Ricard, you use them in a way that accentuates their attributes and turn them into a weapon. The problem that I have with the Ravens, they're so, like, Lamar is going to cover up so much holes, so many problems. Derrick Henry's going to cover up so many holes, so many problems. We don't got to worry about that other crap. And a lot of times, the difference between a Super Bowl and not are the attention to details. It's how well you can look at the details. You ever heard the old saying, the devil's in the details? There's a reason. Details matter. Details, as small as they may look, can make or break you. For anybody that's ever signed a contract, ever did a business deal, the littlest thing on that paper can cause you the most biggest heartbreak and headache that you've ever dealt with. Talking to somebody here. Man, this is the morning show. You know we get down and dirty. Let's get dirty. Oh yeah, let's get dirty. You know what the crazy thing is? I'm going to go even a step further with this. Lamar Jackson on this team, on the Baltimore Ravens, is not just a weapon. He's also a hindrance. I'm going to talk to somebody on this because I want you to see where my mind is going with this, right? Because you're not going to hear nobody go like this. You're not. You got to get it from the Wonder Kid Morning Show. Lamar's also a hindrance on this team. Have you ever sat back and asked yourself, like, Lamar is probably the most talented player in the league. He's the best player in the league. Can't even argue it. And for all of the faults that he covers, right? And all the stuff that he does, have you ever realized that he never ever says, yo, look, even though I'm mad about this loss, I'm going to put the blame on me? You ever notice how he always says, you know, I got to do better. I could have made the play. That's a hindrance. You know why? Because, and I'm being real with y'all. I'm being real. Here's why it's a hindrance. Because it absolves his teammates from doing their job. Lamar Jackson is not the only person in this team that's making millions of dollars. He's not the only player of this team that's the highest paid or around the highest paid at their position. Lamar has been so gifted and has worked so hard at his craft that even he at times tries to use his superpowers too much to cover up the discrepancies of his teammates. And that has come to be a problem for the Ravens. That's why I say that not only is Lamar a weapon, but he's a hindrance. Because he is so gifted that the team itself depends on him to save them. It's like, I'll give you the perfect example. It's like Superman, right? You ever notice how Lois Lane in the comic books, she'd be like, oh, I'm going to go over here. You know why? Because even though there's bullets flying everywhere, I know if I go, Superman, he'll just fly out of nowhere and save me. That's the Lamar effect. I'm talking to somebody here. He is so gifted, so dynamic, that they don't even look at him as a quarterback. Talking to somebody here. They don't view Lamar as a quarterback. They view him as a playmaker. They view him as a difference maker. They view him as a weapon. And the problem with that is, you see how Joe Burrow, when his team doesn't play up to par, they'll say, look, Joe Burrow did all he can. Have you ever heard in any loss that the Baltimore Ravens ever had that Lamar did everything he could? No. Because of his God-given abilities, it is expected of him that no matter what happens around him, he should be able to mitigate it. And it's become something that the team leans on. The point I'm making is because I made this point last night with Justin Tucker. I'm bringing everything full circle, guys. Everything's going full circle. Do you remember when I said I think Lamar Jackson and the offense is going to have more passing yards this year? And I said the reason why is because Tucker is gone. The mindset of that once you pass the 50, you're in Tucker's range. And the way how John Harbaugh would call a game, the way the offensive coordinator would call the game, the way the offense would attack the defense, right? Changed because they always knew that we didn't have to go and get that first down right there because we're going to leave this field with 3 points. It's a 95% chance of leaving this field with 3 points. So there's no reason to push it. There's no reason to smash that gas. So now with the departure of a Justin Tucker, the offense is going to have to do more. They're going to have to cover more deficiencies. They're going to have to be more aggressive. They're going to have to put pedal to metal. They're going to have to do more plays. Talking to somebody here. And the word, yes, is accountability. Accountability. The reason why, and mind you, you heard what I said, it's not that Lamar himself is a hindrance. Just like every word I use is properly placed. Just like I said with Patrick Ricard, how the way he was being used caused him to be a hindrance. As the way he's being used now, he's a weapon. Talking to somebody here. I choose my words wisely. Lamar has been placed in a world where the accountability of the team is no longer even on the head coach. It's not even any longer on the GM. It's laid at the feet of Lamar Jackson. And that can, at times, that is more of a hindrance than anything else. Because what happens is not even the coaches have to have proper accountability. Because he's like, look, I did, okay, I called a bad game. I did. And hey, I did mess up that 2-point conversion, and I did mess up clock management, and I shouldn't have called a challenge right there. It was a horrible challenge. But we won. It's very rare you can say those things and at the end still say you won. Because Lamar, just like Brady said, look at the words I'm choosing. Look at what Brady said. He said, Lamar, he didn't say Lamar's a quarterback. He didn't even call him a playmaker. He said, Lamar is an eraser. Boy, I'm getting into it. I told you I didn't even get much sleep. But I told you I come prepared. I'm going to read something to you, right? I'm going to read something to you. Because I want you to understand, I want you to understand what this is, right? An eraser is a noun. The term or the definition of it is, it's a device used to erase marks that is unwanted. Okay, the reason why I'm saying that is because I want you to understand where I'm going with this, right? I want you to see where I'm taking this, right? Because when you're looking at this, a lot of times, we're not looking at it in the totality. It says, eraser is used to rub out mistakes. Do you know why I use the word, and I agree with the word eraser? Because an eraser can make up for all of your mistakes. But what happens to an eraser if you use it too much? What happens? I'm using my words wisely. What happens to an eraser if you, man, coach, hey, what's good, coach? Coach Gabe said, man, I fell asleep on y'all last night. We went on to almost 12 o'clock. So it's okay, man. I'm just glad, everybody got some sleep. I didn't get no sleep last night, coach, but I'm on one this morning. I'm on one. What happens to an eraser when it's done erasing? Have you ever noticed that an eraser, it's one of the things that you take for granted? It doesn't even make up most of the pencil. It's the most inconsequential part of the pencil. We even used to rip out the eraser. Whatever, I can still write. Write. Make my mistakes. Then you start looking around for that little eraser. You don't care that the eraser gets torn up in the process. You don't care that the eraser loses its luster, loses its shine. You don't care that it's being dwindled down to nothingness. There's a reason why I'm using these words. There's a reason why I'm choosing these words. That's why I was so excited. That's why I was so exuberant when we got Derrick Henry. Because I said, finally, somebody that can stop the eraser from being used all the time and be an eraser himself. I'm talking to somebody on this. This goes back to weapons and hindrances. You know what's crazy? I'm going to show you how crazy this is. As a coach, and we have coaching here, the Ravens watch tape, game in, game out. They saw what players can do well. They know what players can produce. They allowed bad players, bad play for weeks because they were still winning games. They allowed those bad players to continue because the eraser was hard at work. Talking to somebody on this. Does it mean the eraser is perfect? No. That's why I chose that word. When you deal with them, some erasers are soft. Some erasers are hard. Every eraser is not perfect. Sometimes you get the soft eraser. Those erase the best, right? But they get used up quicker. They whittle down quicker. So it's like, oh, it's erasing cleaner. Oh, man, this eraser is amazing. But it gets used up faster. Then you get some that's like, okay, you can erase some things, right? And it slows it down, but it doesn't look perfectly erased. But hey, it doesn't use up too quick. Every eraser is different. It doesn't matter what you write, right? But the type of eraser that you use. But you see what happens. This is why I'm saying coaching is so prevalent. I am using right words. Listen where I'm going with this, guys. That's why coaching in the NFL is so paramount. I'm talking. This is the reason why coaching matters. This is why coaches get paid the big dollars. Because you know what happens with an eraser? I'm talking to somebody. You know what happens with an eraser, guys? We're always been taught that erasers are only used to fix your mistakes. But an eraser in the hands of an artist, it adds. It doesn't just erase. It doesn't just take away your mistake. It adds on. It adds value to the picture. It puts in the shading. It adds levels to the picture. Am I lying? Am I lost in the sauce? Anybody that has ever done artistry, have done drawing, high-level drawing, erasers aren't just used to erase mistakes. They're used to fill in the blanks, to extend that line further. That's what an eraser is in the hands of an artist. That's my biggest point of going back to hindrances and weapons. Because if you got an eraser on your team, and we got two of them things, if Harbaugh was an artist, he wouldn't just use it to erase the mistakes of himself and the other Raven teammates, but use it to fill in the holes on the portrait, on the painting. Use it to bring depth to the canvas. Talking to somebody here. That's been the problem of the Ravens. Has been the problem. No team is perfect. If you want to talk contextualize everything, no team in the NFL is perfect. None. The only team, the closest team to perfection is the Philadelphia Eagles. From quarterback to running back to wide receiver to O-line, O-line to D-line, D-line to corners. They're the closest thing to perfection in the NFL, and even they're not perfect. So if you want to put it in context, nobody is. But you see what happens when you have, it's not just being a weapon. It's about usage. Just like I brought to the point of the way how we had Patrick Ricard being used before under Greg Roman, he was a hindrance. Bogged down the offense. When he went under Monken, all of a sudden, Patrick Ricard became a weapon. Everyone's like, hey, Project Pat is on the way. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? And the crazy thing is, this is not a Lamar topic because you can do the same thing to the defense. I'm talking. Hey, yo. I'm talking to somebody here. The same thing can be said about the defense. You remember that guy named Hamilton? Huh? You remember that guy named Marlin? Huh? You remember them? Do you? Okay. Those are your two erasers on defense. What happened with Hamilton? He's the guy who was your eraser on defense. If you need a play, your linebackers ain't tackling properly, who do they call? They call Hamilton. When you can't get sacks and it don't look good, who are you going to call? Hamilton. When your linebackers can't make a tackle to save their life, who do you call? Hamilton. Same thing is on the defensive side of the ball. They allowed, I'm talking to somebody on this. They allowed foolishness to transpire. They saw the problems from training camp, OTAs. They allowed them to stay there. They said, oh, we'll be okay. We'll be all right. Every little thing is going to be all right. So that's what they were singing. I'm telling you that John Harbaugh was singing like he had that old school regular. Tell me don't worry about a thing. Cause every little thing, Lamar, it's going to be all right. That's what he was singing. So then you look over at Hamilton and say, hey, we're not getting sacks right now. Sacks have become hard to get. Start blitzing Hamilton. Oh, man, the linebackers are getting clogged up, man. They're not making sure tackles. They put Hamilton over in the linebacker section. Say, hey, go make that tackle. Then when the secondary started to get smoked, game in and game out, what did they do? They allowed it to happen until they said, you know what, Hamilton? Go be the eraser. Go back there and fix it. And he brought stability to the entire back end of the defense. Which, even though he did his job at a high level, it took away from the team. Why? Because he is best suited to be used as a jack of all trades. A chess piece that can be moved anywhere on the board. But guess what? He got locked down into a position to literally be just an eraser. A weapon who literally became just an eraser. Used to erase the mistakes of his teammates. One that is no longer here. Matter of fact, two of them that is no longer here. Talking to somebody on here. So my question to everybody that's watching this, right? If the difference between a weapon and a hindrance, most of the time, is how that player is used, who calls, who makes the decisions on where and how those players will be deployed? Tell me. I want to know, chat. Please let me know. I want to know, what do you want? I like to know. Tell me. Say no Lamar thing, no. See, I told you I was going to make some people uncomfortable in this episode. And the reason why is because once again last night, the very topic of weapons and hindrances, what goes on? Who makes the call? Oh, is that coach spelling out his name? Or is that coach giving y'all syllable by syllable, breaking down the alphabet properly to show you how it's spelled? It's the coach. This is why I've said so many times, if Harbaugh concentrated on the particulars, because a lot of times as a coach, it's easy to get lost in just wins and losses. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, wins and losses. And as long as you're winning, you must be doing something right. Right? Right? I'll give you a perfect example. Do y'all remember the Toronto Raptors? Years back when LeBron James was still in the East. And they'd have the best record in the league. They were winning games. Players that made the all-star teams. Coaches that were getting Coaching of the Year awards. Talking to somebody here. GMs that were getting GM of the Year awards. And as soon as they got to the first, second round of that thing, what would happen? What would happen? Everybody says because they were running into LeBron. The funny thing was, as soon as they changed their coach, and they added a player, they were off to the races. Y'all notice that? This is why I keep trying to tell people a lot of times, we put so much on the plate of one. This is the ultimate team game. Everybody plays a role. This is not basketball. Football is the ultimate team sport. If the offensive line is not doing their job, the offense suffers. If the wide receivers aren't catching the ball, the offense suffers. If the center is not snapping the ball properly, the offense suffers. If the quarterback isn't throwing properly, the offense suffers. If the running back keeps fumbling, the offense suffers. It takes an accumulation of people coming together under one idea, one thought process. And that thought process is an extension of the coach. Tell me I'm lying. Coach, you're in here. Am I lying? That's where the thought process of buying in comes from. I'm talking to somebody on this, man. The Ravens, it's not just about acquiring talent and players. It's not. It's about the usage and the deployment of those players. We have a guy. Oh, Yami, yes! One band, one sound. Thank you for saying that, because I'm telling you, I'm bringing everything full circle. Y'all watch Drumline? Do you see how talented Nick Cannon was in it? Remember how talented he was? Remember, the director was lost in ego. And even though they were doing well as a program, they weren't winning the big classic. But he was stuck in his ego. This is going to come full circle. If you watch the movie, you would realize he kept saying, oh, you're upstart, we see your talent, but it's one band, one sound. Then he realized the singular talent of that guy because of what the show he put on by showing the young guy showing his young arrogance towards his leader. So it caused a brawl. And instead of saying, yo, let me teach him the right way, he said, nope. You see what happens when you go something different? Get off the island. We're not using you no more. And the program went like this. It wasn't until he properly deployed him. Not just looking at him as a singular talent. Not just looking at him as an eraser. But somebody that can accent the very skills and attributes that your other team players have. Bro, I'm talking to somebody on here. What happened? All of a sudden, they made sound. They did so they couldn't be touched. Oh. And what did he have to come out and say? He said, maybe I was being too one way on this. Let's add a little bit of what I got to what y'all got. And one band takes that sound and turns it into a symphony. Bro, this is the problem the Baltimore Ravens have. Ego. It all comes back down to that, you know. No matter how incredible your weapons are. You ever seen where somebody can be holding the best gun in the world, but if they're not properly using it, it's just a pew-pew? The shooter, I always say the shooter makes the gun, sometimes the gun makes the shooter. But when you get an equally good shooter with an equally built gun, you have someone who's a one-man army. This is what I've been trying to say, why I view it as a hindrance. Because the way Lamar Jackson is being deployed, he's actually a hindrance. He's being used as just a scapegoat, an eraser. Why do y'all think I campaigned for Derrick Henry so much? Yeah, Coach, everybody watching, you watched episode after episode for about a year and a half of me saying, even when we thought we might get him in the regular season, I'm like, get Derrick Henry, please. What did I tell y'all would happen? I said because they would accentuate each other. They would almost take each other's strengths and turn it up a level. A lot of people thought he was too old. But age becomes nothing but a number when you're no longer being just used as a hard-headed eraser. That was the problem with Derrick Henry in Tennessee. The offensive line started going, it's Derrick Henry, give him the ball. Ryan Tannehill's not doing well, it's Derrick Henry. Heck, Ryan Tannehill's not even throwing the ball well. Derrick Henry would throw the ball. Listen, guys, I love this team. I really do. There's three phases to a game. Offense, defense, special teams. We have to come to the point to where the guys that are our best are not just scapegoats for people not playing up to their contracts or people not playing up to their potential. They have to be used to accentuate the attributes that you see in those players that will make them dynamic and special. Isn't it funny that Philly did that with Saquon Barkley? We all saw Saquon Barkley as being dynamic. But when Philly got him and said, let me put you next to a quarterback that's at least a top 10 quarterback. And the line will block. It'll consistently block. And you got weapons on the outside, so they can't just concentrate on you, Saquon. All of a sudden, Saquon blooms like a rare flower in the mountains of Tibet, sucking up sunshine, glowing in radiance. Everyone says, oh, he's the best running back now. All because he was no longer used as an eraser to make up for the deficiencies of a Daniel Jones. He was looked at as somebody that can accentuate the pass game. somebody that can accentuate the quarterback, the blocking. Until the Ravens get to that mindset, we're going to keep going into the playoffs and falling straight on our face. Because what the playoffs does is the playoffs show you exactly what your deficiencies are in real time. Talking to somebody on this. The playoffs exasperate what your weaknesses are in real time. And you have to deal with that on the fly in real time. Problem with the Ravens are, because we win so much in the regular season, those little problems get glossed over and become headaches that we cannot fight past in the postseason. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm losing my mind. But I'll tell you something right now. I think we got enough. The question is, will enough be used properly? You can have the best ingredients in the world. If the chef don't know how to make it work, you're going to be eating trash. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Yeah. And look, guys, I'm serious about this, man. Serious about this. The Ravens have so many guys, Keaton Mitchell, Isaiah Likely, that are weapons that are not being deployed. They're okay with running to the well of Lamar, running to the well of Derrick Henry. But a well can dry up. Especially when every time you pull from that well, you're pulling in copious amounts. If I'm wrong, you guys are in the chat. We got 27 people in here. Tell me I'm wrong. But if you're saying, nah, Nitro got a point, then show me some love. Because I'm telling you this right now, guys. If the Ravens keep doing this, we're not going anywhere. We're not. We're not. The ball is no longer in the park of saying Lamar, Derrick Henry, Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. What do you mean? What kind of amounts? What do you mean? What do you mean by kind of amounts, Coach? Zelly, yes. Going for 2 when it's not necessary. Even though they should be able to pick up 2 easily. From the 2-yard line. Go heavy and run and run it. Nah, we ain't doing that. Even that may change. Because once again, Tucker, the aura of Tucker is gone. The mindset and ability to do, he can make any kick from 60 yards in, that's gone. What word did I use? I used a lot of words. Copious? Copious amounts? Oh, copious amounts? Oh, so let me, my bad, man. Sometimes I use abundant in supply or quantity. That's the definition, Coach. Copious is what you're saying? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Coach. My bad, man. I as you know, sometimes when I get like into it, words start coming out, and it's my fault, man. My bad. But yeah, copious means an abundant amount. Something in abundance. I want us to win, but if Harbaugh, if this man said, teach me that. Hey, you the man. You the man. I got to teach you, coach. You got it, man. Nah, man. Oh, man. But I'm telling you guys this, man. If Harbaugh can raise the ceiling even a little, then it's over. Because we have yet to see the best of Lamar Jackson. Imagine me telling you, hold. Because this also happened, right? Lamar Jackson is the first player in NFL history to have more passing yards, passing touchdowns, fewer interceptions, higher completion percentage, more rushing yards, higher rushing average than the MVP that season. I want you to understand the season that he had. And you're looking at him and saying, he hasn't even reached the nexus of his abilities. He hasn't plateaued yet. He is still ascending. You know how mind-boggling that is? To say a player can throw for over 4,000 yards, rush for 1,000 yards, and only have 4 interceptions and 40-plus passing touchdowns while giving you around 7 to 9 rushing touchdowns, and you're looking saying, they're still getting better. They're still ascending. Tell me, people, please. Please, use your eyes. There's ocular proof of this. All we need is for the coach to be a coach. And it's over. I don't know. Like, that's crazy. You know how crazy that is? A year that we've never seen before. And show you how crazy this is. If Lamar threw for 4,500 yards next year and rushed for 1,100 yards, it wouldn't surprise nobody. Think about that real quick. If Harbaugh doesn't just raise the floor of the team, but starts to look at the details, starts to raise the ceiling, raise the roof. The roof is on fire. Hallelujah. It's over. What would you be able to do with the tandem of a Lamar and a Derrick Henry? Bro, man, I'm telling y'all, man. I told y'all I was coming with one today. Y'all must have thought I was joking. But that's the episode of the Wonder Kid Morning Show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for showing up and showing love. Chat, love you guys. Thank you for being here. You guys know how we end every episode. You guys know. Now, we have something from the early 2000s. Now, guys, this was something that became a necessity. Everybody was using it. It had the greatest ascension, fastest ascension during the early 2000s, and the quickest ascension probably in the history of software. What am I talking about? Can Harbaugh be the coach that we need? Purple's what I bleed. Black is in the feed. Yeah, making money everywhere. Only guys what we give. Like, yeah. No, Floppy disk is a good one, coach, but this is a program from the internet. That's why I said software. Not a CD, it's not hardware. That's why I said software. Floppy disk is hardware, CD is hardware. Not Windows XP, even though Windows XP is my favorite operating system of all time. No, it's not hardware, it's software. Bro, every single one of you have used this. It was on the internet. It was used throughout America. Everybody needed it. And you would even have to print it out to help use it. You'd use printouts to help use it properly. And then after the printouts, after some more technology came out, it had one of the quickest ascensions we've ever seen. I'm seeing PowerPoint, AOL. Nope. Nope, not. I actually had LimeWire Pro. Shout out to LimeWire. I used to use LimeWire and Aries. LimeWire Pro and Aries. Sip the talent! Coach, I used to go see the double slap. Yes, yes, coach. MapQuest. Bro, y'all don't remember how used this was? Anywhere you were going. Let me get the printout. Y'all don't remember MapQuest? Coach came from the top rope. Yup. King Blaze, there's no way on God's green if you never heard of MapQuest. How old are you? Anybody who's in the early 30s, late 20s should know MapQuest. Everybody should. You used to have that, you used to do the printout and you would see, hold up. And after you put in the directions, this is what you would get. Bro, yeah, man. That's how everybody would use it. MapQuest. Bro, anywhere you had to go far, MapQuest. And you would go to school. I remember one time because my mom, when we would go certain place, my mom told me to MapQuest it and print it at school. Because printing at school in the library was free. So she would go print it at school. Because remember, ink for printers were stupid expensive back then. She would tell me to print it at school and bring it home. And I would make sure that it was done properly. I print multiple copies, bring it home for my mom's. Yes, it was GPS before GPS. Because people were rather using this. You remember we used to have the little Garmin ones for GPS, but they would be wrong all the time. So people's just saying, now we're using MapQuest. Yup, MapQuest. Fastest ascension and descension ever. It became a household name. Then out of the blue, your phone started being able to have live GPS updates, and it died. And when I mean died, it never came back. LH said, oh yeah, I forgot about MapQuest and the printouts. Facts. Time to tell y'all, bro. That's crazy, King Blaze. You said never? I remember using that in middle school, high school. I'm in my mid-30s, but I remember it being used back then heavily. Heavily. That's crazy, man. But shout out to Coach. Coach got that right answer, man. You got that. You got that thing done, man. But guys, that's an episode of the Wonder Kid Morning Show. Once again, please remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Love you guys. Have a great morning. And I'm going to see you tomorrow bright and early. Y'all know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Hopefully you take the words that I said seriously, guys. And hopefully somebody takes it and runs with it. Yerp.
Finish him, Daddy. Do not.